TSM to ban.
It's Radiant's ban now. Seconds to go! 5 seconds left! Radiant pick. Dire pick. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire's turn to pick. Clockwork. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Radiant's turn to pick.
Dazzle.
10 seconds. 5 seconds left. Radiant's turn to pick.
Beastmaster.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dire pick.
Shadow Demon.
10 seconds. 5 seconds left. It's Dyer's band now.
Phantom Lancer.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Radiant's turn to ban. Ten seconds. It's Radiant's ban now. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. It's Dyer's band now. Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. Dyer's turn to pick. Radiant pick.
Earth Spirit.
Ten seconds. 5 seconds left. It's hero choosing time!
Uh-oh. That may have been a mistake.
Prepare for battle.
No more
哪里来的呀？标准简经乱说好吗？
This is just
Pathetic.
Oh, what a beauty! Wish I'd learned how to read.
OK，兄弟们，全体目光向我看齐啊！
30 seconds to battle. If you're not already heading somewhere, now's the time to start. The battle's starting. Just remember, you got a job to do.
De líneas va a ser un primal beast en la parte central que como
My gratitude! Set in stone.
OK，兄弟们，全体目光向我看齐啊！
Muzykalna pauza. Wow, 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 wow,
A
wow.
dazzling death.
Yep, and the constant graves coming. Of course, the graves will indicate what the real TF.
You remember when Dazzle Eggs gave you AoE Grave?
Cinderin, that hero has been remade more times than any hero in the history of Dota. So yes, I do remember that.
Oh,
like
that was not what I was
short
expecting.
nightmare.
Plucky little courier. Oops, it's dead.
Very brief.
Yeah, that was not a popular pickup. It was almost impossible to use, but it was good with PL, because then you didn't know which one was real.
That's true. As Bryle will be playing the Primal Beast in the mid lane versus Gunner, who gets the last pick Earth Spirit again. So
Yep.
something that TSM feel comfortable playing against. I mean, Gunner did have a very good game, game number 1.
This is a worse Earth Spirit game, though, I would say, for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think this mid matchup is not as good as the one in the previous game.
That's first blood for Whitelon. Nicely done from TSM. They are first on the board.
Yeah. So a couple of things about Earth Spirit. His lane matchup is not as good as last game. It's still fine. It's still going to farm. This hero farms against more or less everything. There's a couple of really bad ones, but this is not it. But he's playing against 2 defensive supports that can actually counter him quite well. Demonic Cleansing is very good against this hero that the Shadow Demon will ultimately get either by buying it or getting it from the Tormentor. Phoenix with Sunrig, and during the egg, Earth Spirit can't stop that from happening as long as the Supernova goes off and Phoenix has Shard, that hero has major healing, and above all else, arguably, it's 2 supports that Earth Spirit doesn't just kill and run down, right? Like, he has to, if he goes in, he's going to get Demonic Purge, they're going to have saves for each other, and none of the cores are easy kills either. All of them pretty tanky in their own right, so I don't expect Gunner to have as free of the games he did last time.
Do you think there's any issue with Nouns lineup being so focused, like the fact that they don't really have a frontliner other than the Earth Spirit, that's your mid laner being your frontliner, whereas before your off laner was Brew, who creates a lot of space in the front line. Now it's a Dazzle, who kind of wants to be in the back to be able to get these Graves off.
I mean, they're trying to compensate for that by having a position 4 that could go in this time, right? Last game it was a Skywrath mage, but now they're putting Lilith on that clockwork going in, so I do think that can work out, but you're right, in terms of like distributing the farm and having some sort of truly beefy hero, that's probably not going to be the clock. I think his role in this game is setting the fight. His role is going to be dying, it looks like.
Good dead shot, Lilith resigned to his death, trying to do as much damage before he goes. Auto.
Pull Timato in there.
Inside the cog, another right click will be enough, so move. Nice revenge there.
I play a lot of Clockwork. When I use those cogs, they don't get pulled in. That was crazy. That must have been literally on the last pixel that it got pulled in, and otherwise that is not a kill, so very good news for Nouns to get that kill on Timato there.
I love Earth Spirit. I know people are so sick and tired of seeing this hero, but it's actually so entertaining to watch. Just kicking people left, right, and center. I mean, how does this matchup go generally, would you say? Because
I think it's
pretty normal mid laners.
Yeah, it's largely a wash. I think Primal might be slightly favored, but
good blocks there. The kill from K1, but now Ahri has come with that dive and slowing K1 perpetually. Blood Grenade is there as well, and Ahri will get credit for that kill. So a good turnaround. Talked about the lack of synergy. I mean, if he was able to block a little bit better, both teams would have actually did.
Yeah, I think honestly it's a bit of a trap playing aggressively up here. I think your PLAA lane has to just accept that you're not playing for kills, but you should be playing for farm. So try to pull as much as you can. Try to get key CS with lands. I understand that if you're not putting any sort of pressure, the enemy team is just going to run at you non-stop, right, and just punish you. But trying to dive for kills is not the way to do this, I think. It's just too unlikely to work out. K1, I mean, he was off to a bad game 1 with his Naga. I think this PL, he has way more CS than he did last game around at this time, but also a hero that is extremely dependent on getting his alone time with Phantom Lancer used to build up.
A couple of Shadow Demons today. And we just saw that combo there potentially.
Oh, yeah.
That thought of damage getting on. Ahri, Kasane. Looks like they'll eventually find it because remember from yesterday, this is an ancient apparition. Kasane will get a freebie. But the Shadow Demon disruption into the calling, very annoying. Yeah, it literally just sets it up. Get that auto silence.
Yeah, considering how long that slow is on the calling as well, it makes it pretty easy for Shadow Demon to at least land 3 if not 4 Shadow Poison stacks, so this lane does have quite a lot of kill potential. I would say it's particularly good at killing tanky offliners, which Dazzle isn't even. He's trying to play impact somewhere else because it surely isn't happening top.
Deny of a rune there. Gunner not going to be too happy with that. Level 3 Phoenix coming in for the kill.
Middle tower is under attack.
And in terms of egg killers this game, I mean, PL, classic.
Yeah.
Kind of hits.
Yeah, and I don't think he'll necessarily have the freedom to hit the egg with the right peel because there's going to be a lot of things to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Primal Beast is going to be on top of you. You need to not get roared. The calling is a pretty major attack speed slow. So, yeah, I genuinely think Nouns, with the strategy that they picked for themselves this game compared to the first one, this feels like a game where K1 has to get 5 slotted or 6 slotted to really get there, because the rest of their lineup, it's effectively a turtle game almost, right? It's kind of 4 Protect 1.
Midas is the first item of that 5.
Yep, right. I mean, I don't mind it because I think the right read on this game is, all right, guys, me jungle for 30 minutes.
Yamson trying to go through the gate, but he's going to get caught off guard. Browse there with the Pulverize. Death for Yamson. Give a nice D-board action of their own. Actually, it's getting to half HP, it looks like. Nope, they're actually dying. I guess it's because it's obvious that it's there, so.
Yeah.
And move. It's going to be first item. Is that the normal build? You go right away for the Ags?
It is for mid Dazzle. I would say on offlane Dazzle it varies a little bit, but I don't mind it here. I think Moo's mindset should be, how can I have the biggest impact at 20 minutes? Because that's where the game is going to be decided for Nouns largely. They need to buy time for their PL, and if he goes Midas and plays it slow, I think they just get run over. So he kind of has to have a high impact item, and that's the biggest purchase you can make on this hero for that timing in the game. So It also enables certain things to happen in the game, right? It makes it easier for Clockwork to go for kills because he gets a new killing partner suddenly. AA wants to have that extra damage to find Ice Blast kills, so I just think it's just pretty straightforward to make that choice here.
Nice couple stacks here for TSM as we have a two-man smoke from nouns on their way bottom. Mono obviously can prize possession if they can get him. Gonna get slowed to start out. It's Gunner going for the rolling boulder. Gonna get a nice damage proc onto Whitemon and Tomato. But you can see Ryle has made his way over as well. Pop that illusion room, going for the pulverize, and Lelis finally gets the cancellation thanks to that battery assault. He's gonna die inside his own cogs with Ryle. This will be a very big kill for nouns, and they'll take that trade any day if they can actually finish him off. Pops the up roll for the extra armor, but he does eventually drop to Gunner and that magnetize.
They are very
low. Lucky may pop by Whitemon. Tomato apparently still wants to fight because he's an ancient apparition, which usually means a free kill and a beautiful kick from Gunner leads to 2 more deaths from TSM. Three for nothing. That's a soccer reference, I do believe.
Wow, impressive.
Thank you, Cinderin. That was an alley-oop.
That is not. Okay. That is another sport that shall not be named.
Kasane enemy. Why is Beastmaster falling off? I know there were some nerfs that has really been enough, but just because he was the hero, like a Patrick, you see a deny here.
Yeah, it's something I've been wondering myself. I don't know if it's because certain meta safe laners just have better lane matchups against Beastmaster than back when he was popular. He got changed a bit, but I thought this hero was really good and was going to be a much, much bigger pick at this tournament than it has been so far. Maybe we're going to come full circle because now, you know, the things that Beastmaster doesn't like dealing with has been figured out, and now we're, you know, banning those out, and he could maybe make a comeback, but it's a good question. I love this hero in terms of, like, just overall power in the game. I feel a lot of the times it's very impactful.
10-minute power rune. We top for the shield rune. As Ryle wants to go on DBC, the juicy ancient apparition. Another death for Yamson.
Yamson's playing. Yes, will die.
Now it looks to be
Not specifically because it's Yamson, but because he's playing AA.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with the player. It's the hero. It's meant to die. I'm waiting for the talent that has like a death ice blast. I think that's needed for him.
What about respawning faster? Those were great. Let's bring those back. Everybody loved those.
If you bring it back for supports, maybe not so bad. Mid Lina, though, was not fun. As Tier 1 tower will go the way of TSM. K1 still not quite finished with that Midas.
Yeah. Go for the tread, so obviously it will take a little bit longer, but...
You can see his farm in comparison to the Muerta a decent amount behind right now. Ryle. His smoke pops, he knows that K1's in the area. Gets the pulverize onto the correct one. The Sunray actually gets canceled by Ari. Looks like K1 is just done. No way to get out.
Done.
Done indeed.
Yep. Well, they're trying to make the most of it down bottom now, Zar, by pushing the Tier 1 tower in return. They have the siege creep wave, but being pulled off here by the Shadow Demon almost kills off the siege creep, but actually the creep's reset position. Scared of getting dove, so he backed off, and that will probably lead to this tower falling in the end if Moo tanks it up a little bit longer. But he's careful too, right? Not careful.
That is a Shadow Demon. He's actually level 7 right now. Takes an Ice Blast. Will drop. Finally on the board again.
Radiant's bottom tower must have been dizzy.
And now we enter that stage of the game that's going to be, for me, the most interesting, probably the most interesting stage of this game is going to be the next 10 minutes. Moo almost has the Ags. PL is absolutely in the jungle, and he will be there for the foreseeable future.
I mean, his farm is pretty bad right now.
Who plays the tempo better? You have this incredible Ags on Dazzle very early. This is so powerful, but the other team has 5 heroes, so what's better is going to be the question.
Radiant's bottom tower needs a
Ends up
hand.
being an even state of affairs, and I think that Ags might be a little overpowered, if you put it that way.
The K1 is basically going the greediest possible build, right? Midas into Ags. So he is... That is one farming item into the next farming item. Sure, you can show up to fights with his Aghanims, but essentially you still want to just use it for farming as much as possible, and it feeds into this idea that PL is playing the 6-slot game here, and that was the plan from the beginning. This doesn't seem like a fallback plan for K1 where you're like, oh man, my lane went really poorly. You picked AAPL, you know what you signed up for. You are not winning this lane, so...
Not sure if they think it would have gone better than it did, but I mean, it's only technically 500 behind
I feel like this is
Amato.
almost par for the course, honestly. I know you're really far behind Beastmaster, right? You're 2k behind, but I think theoretically this lane is just flat out unwinnable. So it's, all things considered, not that bad. Like, we're painting this picture of a terrible PL early game, right? But they're still even on gold, the two teams, so they can buy him the time they need because Dazzle's game is this good.
Yeah,
And will now go Midas,
Yeah.
so...
I'm surprised they didn't go for it earlier, but yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the fact that you can actually make the cooldown lower, I kind of have to buy it on a core Dazzle. I feel like this and Ogre, it just feels wrong not to, even if it griefs the game as an Ogre in some cases. You just got to do it. Feels too good.
Yeah, well, in this tournament, Ogre has been primarily played mid, so I guess he's been more of a core than a support. I think, I want to say LGD played it support one game on Y, but yeah, it's not been a popular support. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is one of the Gunner heroes. I think he lost that game.
No, well, I think he's both won and lost, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken, but it was one of the games against Tundra that, you know, Nouns were kind of the silent assassins of this tournament, where everyone's like, okay, Nouns made it out of groups, maybe some people didn't expect them to do that well, and then they go into the bracket, and then they beat Tundra, and then all eyes were on them suddenly, like, okay, these guys are the real deal. And one of those games that they won, they played the mid Ogre, so deservedly so. I feel like Nouns are getting a lot of attention and a lot of praise from fans, because not only are they winning matchups that on paper are not favorable, but they pick cool stuff.
Well, he actually comes shots away, but Kyle wants to go in. He's going to take a primal roar for his efforts. AA Blast is coming. He's going to clip two. Disruption there for the time being. And you can see Primal Beast has made his way over. Nice brave onto Gunner. Can he stay alive for a longer period of time, though? They find the Shadow Demon to start, but there's the trample and the onslaught from Bryle to take their prize possession. And they're going to go for the Dazzle as well. So 4 kills for TSM, and all they lose is the 5 Shadow Demons.
Right. They won the 5v4, so Dazzle Axe may yet be fine.
Pretty good move, if you ask me.
Worried about it.
Yeah, I'm very worried for another redesign of Dazzle. If I was a betting man, so this time next year might be an entire different hero again.
His career has been killed. I
Shadow
would
Demon will be passive then.
absolutely agree.
I do miss.
That was a boring one, though. I can understand.
I understand it's a polarizing ability. I always thought it was really cool, but I'm also boring and weird person.
That is true.
I like Venomance, so that says a lot
Okay,
about me.
stop talking right now. Thank you for joining us.
Your least favorite hero in Dota is Lion.
That's right. That's more personal than anything.
Very interesting. Fortunately for you, it hasn't been played this tournament, so
Thank
that's good.
God. Level's only 1,500 away from his Aghanim Scepter, which is kind of a crazy... We'll talk about that when he actually picks it up. The old overclock.
Yep.
I mean, looking at the net worth of this game is pretty even, all things considered.
It
I
is.
think Nouns are, if they knew that, they'd be pretty happy with the current state.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations that are... It's kind of interesting because, you know, historically, you sometimes look at games, you're like, okay, this hero is pretty good against PL, this hero is pretty good against PL. I feel like PL, unless he's like double or triple countered, he ultimately reaches a point of, you know, just becoming too much of a nuisance. Even if, let's say Muerta, you're like, yeah, she's pretty good against him. You just pierce the veil, you can't hit her. You can just kite for him, you know, and then you just outlast all the problems you have, and then eventually it's too much. So I do think if this becomes a 6-slot in PL, I fear for TSM's ability to solve this hero, because despite, you know, you look at Phoenix, you're like, yeah, the Yang is good, the March is good, just run away, you know?
Yeah.
Just run and then turn and win. So Primal Beast is a little bit of a wild card in that with the Axe. I think that can maybe push it over the edge.
Yeah, his Axe, I mean, Mjolnir eventually on Muerta. You have Drums of Slom eventually for Beastmaster.
Drums of Slom, true. That is all.
I assume
So maybe, yeah, you're right. I didn't count for the
sort of
drums.
Shiva's carrier. I mean, theoretically, Phoenix would want to go for, I don't know if he's be able to afford it, but I don't think there's really a Radiance holder on TSM unless they really force it. I mean, theoretically, Phoenix does like to go for it in some cases, but this is support.
The Drums of Slum are a really good point, actually. I think that's kind of the thing that could push it over the edge where TSM have enough solutions, but Kasane did deviate from it. He planned it, and now he's quick buying up a pipe instead. So maybe TSM with a little bit of a let's play it even faster mindset, let's look to push as 5. A lot of teams have failed to do that successfully in this tournament. Going high ground has been very difficult for most. And Nouns do have a lineup that will ultimately be quite hard to push into. You've got Shadow Wave from really far away that does a lot of damage. You can get kicked into base. Clockwork is always going to be a problem for displacement. And while you do have a save in the Shadow Demon, you don't have a repositioning save like, say, Nether Swap or a full-on hard save that, like Oracle, to just get people out of trouble. So it does feel like this game is likely to get decided on Nouns' high ground at some point, one way or the other. The question is when TSM want that to be. Obviously not 18 minutes in, that is definitely not going to be the case, but this is likely just going to be a farming agents, right? Like, how do you use this one? On where to, just it's very difficult to set up.
How does that even work?
And still 3 tier 2s available for the taking for TSM. They're trying to look for a pickoff first, though. Putting down an observer, but not gaining any vision on an enemy hero quite yet. As we are about 1 minute 20 seconds away from torment time.
Well, Dazzle can solo that, worth keeping in mind.
That's true. Oh, Bryle, the onslaught to the other side of the trees. They're going to find Lou. Can he get off his hold? Yes, he does, right on the wall. Doesn't have enough damage indeed. Now the Veil of this one.
I'm surprised he didn't get off the grave there, but yeah, the Veil just barely got them across.
Very nice pick off. I mean, that's the thing about these fights. I feel like you kind of have to kill Dazzle first no matter what, right?
Yeah, that seems to be a great recipe to the fights. You don't have to exactly the best catch if he's in a good position. Like, Primal can technically go dagger and jump, but do you have the follow-through burst? You know, something like a Skywrath, you know, just pile on and just blast it during the Primal, but maybe it's not necessary. Like, maybe it's going to be more of a maneuverability thing where you try to just flank and set up the fight under the right terms, and then sure, maybe Dazzle gets the grave off, but if he's out of the fight and he has been playing offensively, that might be good enough. They really want to steal this Tormentor. I think this is the perfect play on the map. It's obviously, you're already over here because you took the tower, but you also know you're playing against Dazzle, so this is effectively a 3k net worth play. You get 1400 and they don't.
Nouns have an idea that this is happening. And the active something now in line for the Clockwork. Kasana's going to get initiated on the AE class. He's coming. He's spearman on his way. Does get up the roar. He's going to find enough distance to get away for now. Shot again. That Hawk. Destroy that Hawk. Destroy him now. Delicious meat for everyone. But Gunner's really far away from the rest of his team. Trying to get on Kasane, but he just dies.
He died to poisons, right?
And somehow Kasane, the one initiated upon, lives through the day.
That's a value pipe there, I have to say. He does not live without that. But yeah, the Hawk, more so than anything, really saved his life. It blocked the hookshot line. Lilas obviously ends up self-stunning from the overclocking, so he can't really pursue any further. They didn't get the Tormentor at the very least. They found a core kill and they keep control of the area. It looks like they're not going to give it up under any circumstances. They're staying around.
Yeah, they love Torment time. Understandable.
Bryle throwing a bit of a tantrum here.
They got the Wisdom Road. That's what he really wanted to get.
And I guess now they have to dip who's there too.
They'll have to concede the Torment now. It is theirs after all. Now enough vision from those rocket flares to be able to secure this one for themselves.
Comes the full squadron of flying donkeys.
Rams, the jetpack. Yes.
What's that? What's this dog called again?
What dog?
The courier the Clockwork has. It's from a video game, right?
Okay, go ahead.
How can I not remember this? It's called Courier. That's right.
Okay, yeah.
There we go. Yes.
Gunner 2,000 gold into his eventual heart right now. TSM sporting just a 1k lead. I mean, what kind of lead would you want if you're a TSM fan at this point? Like, is there a certain threshold, like we should be up by this amount at this point, or is it not that simple?
I think it's hard to say how much you should be up by, but I don't think 1k is really necessarily enough. PL is, once again, he has 0 assists. I don't know if K1 has over 1,000 hero damage yet. Probably not. But he's slowly but steadily getting to a point where he can start entering fights. And with that in mind, if you've kind of like drawn, as we talked about, more or less 4v5, how are the fights going to look when this guy actually turns up, right? So I don't feel overly confident that this first 20 minutes for TSM has been successful enough. But I also think in this patch it's very difficult to necessarily pull that off, and that's why perhaps that's part of the reason teams are shying away from a hero like Beastmaster, that they feel like they cannot accomplish enough of what this hero is known for, which is taking over the map and dominating in the first half hour. Maybe players have just got too good at playing the map. It's hard to say. Obviously, a bit of a factor in this, there's 2 Midases on the side of Nouns, right? One of them is Dazzle, so he will use it way more than other heroes, so a lot of quote-unquote fake gold. These 2 Midases are worth almost nothing in terms of teamfight prowess, so arguably in power level you're behind by 6k. That's only if you are forced to fight. As long as you can keep using them passively.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And yeah, win expectancy in the game is effectively just a flat-out 50-50.
Yeah, it's definitely a close one. And we'll see if they end up going for some of the itemization we were talking about against the PL. But right now, MPL is not that big of an issue until he gets to a certain point.
I think man to heart will be a problem. Okay. Until then, you probably have him decently under control. And K1 is a very seasoned player on this hero, so he understands when it's a game where he doesn't join at all. Like he's, you know, I think a lot of players will be tempted to join fights once they have their defusal, right? It's like, okay, now I have my fighting item. He's not going anywhere. He's still farming. And his quick buy currently is Manta into Linken's into Heart. I guess looking for some protection against the Primal Roar and the Pulverize. I want to say he's probably still going to pick up the Heart first, though.
You're telling me he has patience.
Oh, yeah.
He has 2 Midases on his team. He has to.
Yeah.
You have to. There we go. He's actually going for Linken's after the Manta.
If only someone would have told you that 20 seconds ago.
It looks like Linken's is going to be the choice here, Cinder. You're aware of that?
He's buying the Heart first, but
Tier
somebody's
tower. Looks like it's TSM's for the taking.
Yep.
And Nouns just waiting for the inevitable push into the high ground, which TSM
coming here, though.
Yeah, they might just take that tier 2, then hope that Roche has spawned. But we can see it's a very, very late Roche spawn timer, which benefits Nouns, I would think.
What makes of this?
Radiant's bottom tower needs a hand.
I mean, what were your options? You could have gone Octarine. Could have. I guess you just want to position yourself as well as possible as you stay further away with this. Alright, spamming into these Midas and Fountain. Very nice.
Just gotta use those spells. Get that cooldown of Midas, that's all he cares about. Next tier 2 tower, and in fact the final tier 2 tower for Nouns will be uncontested as well. And Kasane is going to be greeted by the Ice Blast. He has about 150 gold away from finishing his ag, so Drums of Swan, which we've seen that work against PL. I know it's been nerfed since then. Still relatively good skill against the hero in general. That was like Bloodstone. That was like kind of an older school build, I think.
Yeah, and I guess you're probably unlikely to buy Bloodstone because you're against AA.
Well, it's completely out of mana. Yamson existing, which I don't think Bryle's too happy about. Gonna have to wait.
He is actually probably set a record for this tournament, playing AA for 10 consecutive minutes without dying.
He only has 3 deaths. That's impressive, considering how aggressive the TSM lineup is.
Solid.
I give him credit.
Yeah, he's got a half Midas, so just chilling, you know.
Oh, he's back to the half Midas again. Okay. So that seems to be the average amount for Nouns.
Yep.
Somewhere between 2.5 and 4 Midas.
So somewhere between 2.5 and 4 means the average is 2.5 is what you're saying.
Depends on the weight distribution.
We can't all attend our classes. I got you covered. It's been a long time. Do you want to have one guess at what the average between those 2 numbers are?
3.25?
You didn't miss that.
Huh?
You didn't miss that one.
Because I'm smart.
That is
pretend to
very
much
up for debate.
It's the only way to make you look good. Me be a complete moron. Heart now online.
I have been pretending for 7
my whole life. Life is easier this way.
It was just a prank. Was that nerd? Smart.
Gunner very, very tanky now. More from the SNK. Bryle about to finish his Heart as well. So letting Hunter away from the recipe itself is. We can see Roche is about to spawn. Kasane pretty happy about that, banging on his drums. It'll be nighttime for the foreseeable future, so Roche will likely just be taken out by TSM. And I think this is the Roche, the Aegis they have to use well. Or else I think they might be in some
Radiant's
trouble.
bottom tower is under attack.
It's easier said than done, though. I think it's kind of hard for their lineup to go high ground because the only hero that can truly see is Muerta. And if there's one thing this hero absolutely hates, it's displacement, right? When you get thrown out of position,
Oh, that's a nice blast.
they're just going to fight for it, right? They know there's no position. The problem is, if you get hook shot or if you get kicked into space by Earth Spirit, you're probably losing your first life off that alone, right? Or at the very least you're forced to use your ult, and that might be enough to just break up the fight and delay. And while that is happening, you're facing heal land spam, you're facing shadow wave spam, and you're facing them both at the same time, which is even worse, because the shadow wave is going to bounce on the PL illusions as well as the enemy heroes. So as soon as he lances and it bounces twice, which the Axe does, you just have this like extremely annoying wall to get through. We are going to go for it. This is the moment of truth for TSM. I feel like if they get forced back here, or even worse, take a very bad fight.
So much spam between the poison touch shadow waves and these rocket flares constantly coming out.
Always wanted to be enjoying
Like, yeah, we don't really have to do much to get you off our front doorsteps.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, they brought back K1. I actually thought he was just going to stay mid for a bit, and that they would be spamming them out with just the rockets and the dazzles, but nouns feel like PL is needed, and I think it was the right call. Bring it back.
Perhaps waiting for this heart on Brile, still not quite finished with it.
TSM are scanning and hoping to find someone, but they could not be further away from the enemy team at this point, basically, while still playing aggressively on the map. And arguably they have to go bottom at some point too, because this wave coming in is going to start being relatively sizable. If any of Nouns' core shows up there, that will force a rotation. I think TSM will have to give up positioning a little bit here. Tomato already TPing mid. Obviously this rocket spam. Overclocking is great in Clock when you don't have to fight, and you can just use it for farming. It feels nice, you know. Sure, the stun drawbacks, kind of whatever, you know. You just keep spamming rockets on the waves, keep farming up your PL, ever so quietly.
Have we seen more than one roar in this game? Well, his spell icons sure are small.
He has roared the Earth Spirit
He has
Autumn.
6 on there. Goodness. Like he's playing on mobile or something.
I think he might have roared twice.
Twice? Okay, sure. Still not that many times for 30 minutes in the game. It just goes to show how Nouns has kind of been playing keep away to some degree from TSM. Waiting for their critical mass point, which PL, let's see, he has the heart done in 400 gold or 600 gold.
What do you think he's going to go after hard? Do you think Lincoln?
Lincoln's, I think so, yeah.
Probably a good choice here.
Problem.
I got many.
Okay. But Lincoln's ain't one of them.
But you ain't one. There you go.
Brile and company looking for an opening to get to this high ground. It's 2 minutes left on the Aegis. They need to, they do need to try to do something with this. Finally, PL within a few feet of another enemy hero. I'm not sure if we've seen that in the entire game, other than the first death in the laning stage. A lot of creep kills since then.
I really hope the crowd is going to go wild for K1's first assist. That's what I want, guys. If there's one thing...
0, 2, and 0, but 425 creep kills. That's a lot.
If I can ask this one thing of the crowd, be the loudest you've been all event for K1's first assist here. That would be really funny to me. Just hold your breath. It's not going to happen just yet. Okay? We're waiting a bit.
Waiting for his Lincoln.
Yeah, we might be.
Radiant's top tower's about to
Also queued up the shard, as well as a disperser.
Oh, torment time. Oh, yeah. Really, they're big fans of stealing enemy tormentator. Cross between
Tormentor and commentator. It's you.
Tormenting our audience. Brile will get his rocks ready to throw.
Yeah. Another spell against PL. It all adds up.
It's getting there.
But he needs to see him first. It's hard to throw rocks at things you can't see.
Oh, you can throw them, but you're not going to connect.
Sure.
It looks like Tomato's Aegis will not be used for really too much. I mean, all the outer towers, but those already. I can can see the lead technically on nouns side, but still, this feels like a 50-50 game. The later it goes, maybe not so much.
It's hard to say. I mean, I've built up this PL. We haven't really talked too much about the other cores, but obviously Earth Spirit is really big now at this point as well. Kaisanj coming up. We've got the Dazzle almost with Octarine. Moo is quietly farming up a Storm as well, but obviously TSM, they have 3 of the top 4 networks in the game on their cores. There is a significant distance between the Clockwork and the supports of the Radiant that could turn into a bit of a deciding factor here. That Lelis will just keep farming more than the enemy supports on the map with that overclocking, spamming out waves, keeping his net worth growing. He's 3,500 net worth ahead of the Phoenix, which is a lot at this point. That has bought him a Halberd. Not a very common item to see nowadays, but obviously nice against Muerta.
Yep, absolutely.
And he's going Lotus next.
Yeah, those rocket flares have to be one of the most annoying things to deal with. To the point where I guess I do, but most people probably don't even name what the Axe does for the other skills. It feels like rocket flare is the main reason that you buy that item.
It is. I mean, to be fair, it does quite a lot of things. So.
I mean, I want to see the day when the cogs giving attack speed becomes an actual thing. There you go, like some crazy right-click build on Clockwork. Sounds like fun.
Do you mean just a base spell?
Yeah. No, it's part of the Axe. Like the reason you buy the Axe.
Oh, you mean, okay, you know it already does it, but you want people to itemize it specifically.
Correct.
Yeah, I think if the drawback wasn't a 4-second self-stun, that might be a thing, but it is hard because
minor details.
You pop it, you go in, and then you stun yourself for a long time when you're really starting to get some kills.
Hey, Lincoln's is done. Looks like 6 items are finished on K1.
All right.
Is he ready to fight? As the crowd goes wild, anticipation for the first assist of the game for K1.
Take it easy.
He might need to wait for the shard, though.
We're not there yet.
And then Disperser after that, and then maybe need to, you know, consume the Ags and buy another item. So there might still be some time to wait.
He has room to grow.
12 to 6 and 35 minutes in the game.
Fun fact, it was also 12 to 6 and 25 minutes into the game.
That is...
And at 20 minutes into the game. The last kill was minute 21, I think.
Wow.
Am I wrong? No. The last kill was... Whitemon killed Gunner. Minute 20.
K1 has killed a tower. That doesn't count as an assist, technically speaking, but we'll give it to him. He has bought the shard now.
Here comes Kasane, so K1's out of there.
Okay, yeah.
Shard coming up.
Got a shard on Kasane as well, by the way, so...
Yep.
Got a zoo.
Extra Hawk. Shadow Demon. I think Whitemon should be farming more, or stacking more, to be honest. I think if you're playing this kind of stalemate game, the supports have to follow through and really get there too. And it just looks like nouns are getting more value out of that. Keep in mind, you're getting out-farmed by Shadow Demon, or by AA as Shadow Demon, right? Like, AA has nothing to farm with except Philosopher's Stone. So, if Shadow Demon was actually focusing on stacking camps or farming wherever his cores aren't, I think Whitemon could be looking at 2k more net.
Oh, the roll-in. Will we have a kill in this game?
Here he comes.
Okay, Gunner really wants to find Kasane. He will kick him back into the Lotus Fountain, and K1 is doing damage to something that's not a creep. But he's going to try to get out of dodge now. He's not interested in fighting. He still wants 4 items to work with. Gets the Spirit Lance out. As Tomato ready to do some damage here. No kill yet, ladies and gentlemen. Might have to wait a bit. Now it's resetting now. They forgot how to actually fight. Action stun onto Mr. Earth Spirit, the Primal Roar to follow. A-Class is coming to the light. Not trying to damage with the trample, but he's going to get grazed. And Gunner still being surrounded by Brown. Not sure if he can actually get away from this. And Tomato pops the ult, dealing so much damage to K1. Still doesn't have a kill or an assist, and now he has to run away in shame. Invisible right now. Nice hook shot with 2 in the cog from Lelis. Beautifully done as the cheese is popped. Ryle is very healthy. We'll take a miss on there from that Halberd. That's only 3 deaths for now. They kill off everyone other than K1, and somehow the Ancient Apparition lives just to taunt us. And K1, he's not finished farming yet. Still needs a few more minutes in there.
That was a great fight from TSM, I have to say. They did a really good job weaving in and out, playing around the perimeter of the fight. Got a lot of value out of the drums of Slom and the pipe on Beastmaster. Kasane tanked so much in that fight. And then just keep him alive. They have the support to protect Egg. Tomato gets quite a bit of freedom.
K1 pretending that he actually wants to chase here. We all know that's not going to be the case. case, eventually he will run away. Sunray, and there we go. Forcing out one spell, and that's enough. Back to the creeps.
Structural damage.
Yeah, a little bit.
Radiant's middle tower's not feeling the love.
But that was honestly kind of important for TSM to experience this fight and recognize that, okay, finally, if they do give us the fight, we can win it, right? They win it cleanly. They're gonna, as their reward, probably going to get the Roshan here on Bless. Now to get over there. It kind of is playing out the way we were predicting, right? Like, PL is going to force spells and then keep kiting forever, but if he can't ultimately pierce the heroes after that, it's all for naught. Like, the Supernova went out, Beastmaster used everything, and while PL didn't die, his teammates weren't able to distance themselves. They actually kept going in to try to set up the PL, but he wasn't strong enough to commit. So Lelis kind of killed himself going in, Gunnar died, and ultimately they ran down Wu as well, as you pointed out. So maybe...
Disperser finished on K1.
Yeah.
Now all he can do is consume the Axe and maybe upgrade the Tread.
Yeah, do you reach, like, what is the last item here? Is it Butterfly? Is it Swift Blink? Like, so you could just...
I mean, you don't really need boots on this hero, right?
Not necessarily true, so...
Especially with Disperser as well.
Yeah, so maybe what K1... What he identified in the last fight when he was halfway through it was, I can't kill a core, I need to kill supports first.
I think we want to contest this. AA Blast is coming. A bunch of illusions now from K1. Gonna get gone on by Brian with the negative scepter coming up for something you do have to worry about if you're now. Pipe gonna dissipate here relatively shortly as Roche is at half HP. K1 pretending to go in. It's gonna get roared. Link is broken. There's a roar. He's dead. 80 seconds of no PL. Not much difference in this game because well, not gonna be any creeps at least. That's the big difference. But hasn't really been a PL this game. It feels like is now Roche is available for TSM, and this is a big one. This is Refresher Shard. You could wait 15 seconds to get the Axe, but they're not gonna take the chance.
There's just no way around it. That's just a blunder. Like, he's going in, his teammates are nowhere near to save him. There was no hook shot for a save, there's no core staff, there's no grave. Who has dagger and force staff, and he still couldn't grave him. So K1 was way far ahead there. We gotta see the replay here, so... Like...
That was really quick between the Linken's break and the pulverize, like super fast. Like, I was just ready to play Dota! Alright, back to hitting creeps in 30 seconds. As Bryle, now not scared at all. Going for this high ground push. We'll try to spam everything out. Fortification pop. Martha still with that Aegis because she literally just picked it up. Hasn't died since then, in case you're wondering. And this is going to be a set of racks. Like, 13 seconds left on K1. Another fortification play. You want to defend this melee racks. If there's an overclock activation, see if Rocker wants to go in here. Mr. Lelis. Defend the melee rack, so that's pretty big for nouns. And now PL is back.
Maybe the thing that nouns, we've been focusing so much on the PL, maybe the key thing here is unlocking Gunnar, who seems to be struggling with initiating fights because the turnaround potential, we talked about how this isn't the best Earth Spirit game compared to the previous one. He seems to have a hard time going in because if he goes in, he's going to get roared and just blasted, right? But when the BKB comes out, he's going to be able to ignore a ton of damage. He's going to take way less from the Primal. He's going to take way less from the Beastmaster, and the Shadow Demon and Phoenix in particular are going to be doing way less to him. So maybe for nouns, that is what you're hoping for to get him in. But essentially, you need long fights, right? You need them to drag out so that PL can keep poking, and you need to find supports because you're not killing the cores. They're too tanky. Beastmaster has this huge tanking build. Primal speaks for itself, right? And Muerta, half of the fights, Tomato has Aegis, so not really going to be an easy target either for them. So TSM,
I feel like their whole lineup for nouns is just like poking in and out. They don't really have this guy that's just going to go in and kill everyone.
Lelis overclocked.
Yes,
You got stunned.
He is self-stunned. Going to hook shot to safety. Gets onto the other wall. This will be fine. K1. I really do wonder how much damage he has done in this game.
I mean, he's starting to land spam quite a lot.
Yeah.
It's going to add up.
See?
More than Gunnar by now.
That is, I mean, I guess that's not that surprising considering Gunnar, he can't really fight without a heal at this point.
He can't really. He's going to complete his BKB now for the upcoming fight. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him queuing up a Linken's next, because you need that freedom of movement in these fights as Ritz, where you need to be able to run in, pop your BKB, and not get roared. so you can get off all your spells at least once. Be back to base here. Let's see if TSM fancy going here. 2 minutes on their Aegis is plenty to try to get something done.
Rock throw actually will hit. They gotta get rid of that Lincoln first. What is their best Lincoln strike in this game?
Probably Demonic Bird.
And then Brow jumps in. Last clipped him barely. There's the roar, this time extended to a cutter. You can see Ooh on the outskirts ready to grave at any point. If the moving is to half HP. All the way. Another grave to come just to make sure. Pretty tense moment here. As TSM distracted by the fact that Tormentor is available. They really love this Tormentor. Still, even at this stage, going high ground is quite difficult.
They don't actually have Phoenix Shard.
Torment time.
They should really try to get this Phoenix.
They might. 50-50. There we go. That is a very good one.
How is that a 50-50? It's the only shard they didn't have.
50-50. Between him and the enemy.
Is that another comeback mechanic? There's 50% chance you get nothing.
Yeah, that's
right
right.
to the Torment. Okay.
40 seconds on the Aegis. Tomato.
He is progressing. I mean, they're getting some damage in.
Yeah. It's gonna happen eventually, I think. Of course, this endless.
Oh my god, this is
My god, so much damage! Alright, well, Ryle was trying to put a stop to this, but he goes over to BKB and nobody's with him. Now hightailing away, and I think TSM is going to back away knowing that the Aegis is going to expire in 20 seconds and going to be caught in a weird spot. They still have a refresher shard, by the way, and it is on the Phoenix.
Alright, Aegis is out. Time to play the map, probably until next Roche for TSM. I just think high ground is genuinely impossible for them without an Aegis. It's just so difficult, so essentially what you're hoping to do at this point is keep control of the map, smoke out at some points, and if you find and kill PL, that is where you force high ground and get a buyback, because if K1 is out, the defense is not possible. His spam is way too important to holding them off. And if they were to find him now, he wouldn't have buyback, so they would actually just end the game.
Dire scanning for enemies.
Doesn't look like they're in the right area of the map to make that happen.
Back to the spam. K1. Looks like Bloodthorn will be the choice. Okay. So either going to consume the Ags or just ditch the treads.
Probably ditch the treads first, you would imagine, right? It's too expensive to go the other way around. It's approaching this 25 talent. Do we have any of those? We do have the Muerta one. Magic resistance. And one of the less creative ones.
But
very good. Ryle's gonna be found out. Well, onslaught to the other side. We're gonna have a fight here. Whitemon's gonna get some action with Gunner. I think puts himself in a very precarious spot. And Tomato's gonna pop his hope. And then trying to delete Gunner, but the grave comes out just at the last moment. Let's see if another grave will come from Mode. He even leads on Gunner, but they're gonna lose the Shadow Demon from the TSM side first. K1. Great job for K1 and Miles. Trying to get away with that BKB. The fight is still active, so mitigating a lot of damage. The Papa Chief Buff will live through the day. The first egg comes through, healing up Toronto. Kasane gets off the roar onto the newly minted 1 assist on the Phantom. Okay. Mr. Phantom Lancer, K1. Trying to poke K1 from afar. See the rocket flares from the south as Gunner. He's gonna eat cheap mid-rolling boulder. Very weird fight, very segregated overall as K1 now focusing his efforts onto Ari. Looks like that's going to be the kill. As Gunner now continues to pressure Kasane into the high ground. Fast buyback here, potentially coming out as the big A flash comes in. Will hit Kasane. And somehow now to kill 4 heroes. I thought they forgot how to do that halfway through this game, but they've remembered. But they do lose a set of racks at the top.
And look at that damage from Dazzle. He actually did more damage to the PL in that fight. 12.5 out of Move.
Those shadow waves on the PL have been insane.
Yeah. And I think the critical difference in this fight, there's a couple of things that happened. First of all, Gunner went on. He was the first target, right? So he's going to go in here and start off the fight. And he has the BKB, and he's tanking quite a lot of spells here and a lot of damage, right? From Tomato. Forces out his ult. He gets graved, and he gets to reset. This is what nouns want in the fight, is for Gunnar to be able to do this with confidence so that they can just make the fight chaotic, make it long, and then PL ultimately will start building up. The hookshot from Lilith is crucial here, killing off Shadow Demon. You need to kill the support first, right? At the very least one of them. And then the fight can open up, so that's what happens. So.
And that was with 2 eggs being used, so now the refresher shard is gone. Although it looks like Ari is... Well, he's going to finish his Boots of Bearing first, but then refresher will be next on the list. He's able to get to that point. And K1, who now has 2 kills and 2 assists, actually, will be consuming his bag shortly. Very lackluster cheering.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be consuming the Ags for an eventual Swift Blink. And then Moon Shard is next, of course. And then I think he's done at that point. Maybe a pocket Boots of Travel.
True.
Ready to go here as Mariah to get some Lotus Flowers to consume.
That
One
was
is top net worth in the game.
That team fight was about a 12,000 net worth swing. So
yeah, that was huge.
That is absolutely huge for nouns. Obviously, not out of the woods yet. This is still an extremely close game, so this kind of team fight win, while nice, isn't going to cut it for them, but it will open up for a bit more aggression, it seems. The confidence here to push in through bottom.
Oh, we're going to have a fight up top. Pulverize is there. A blast coming in.
That's
Not going to connect because Gunnar is already dead.
No grave for him there. Dazzle is covering yellow bottom.
The force of fortification is going to have to come back to their base here pretty shortly. Doppelganger away potentially is Kasane. He's going to get some axes action with those drums of Slot going to work as well as Ryle. Nice onslaught. Can they find the correct Phantom Lancer? There's the Sheep trying to keep him at bay. Another Doppelganger onto the high ground. But no, K1's actually stuck in a little bit. He gets unlucky. But you can see the Pile is actually going for the wrong target. And now, finally, they found him. Sunray is there. K1, he is dead. No buyback on this Phantom Lancer. 100 seconds he has to wait.
That play from now is
high risk.
It's super high risk. You're splitting your team in half 50 minutes into the game. You're sending Peel to push bottom and covering him with Dazzle, which means you're leaving your Earth Spirit vulnerable top. And ultimately what happens is Earth Spirit dies, TSM have a power play, and they're just going to collapse on bottom as soon as they can. Very well played by Kasana there to just be patient, isolate the right PL, get that roar with the Sunray, and find that kill. I think Grave was not available for Moo there. He maybe wasn't in range. And then it is a big one. They don't know he doesn't have buyback, but, you know, they're absolutely going to try to force it out if he does have it. So their play is the same regardless.
And 50 seconds. Roche is back, so they have something to fall back to if they choose to go down that road. But like you said, 5v4, whether they know it or not. Kamano actually goes to the high ground, trying to take out the Dazzle, but he's able to find enough distance to get away with one roar. Onto Gunnar, there's the Grave from afar, actually done from Moo. A flash is coming in, Kamano stuck inside the cogs, but Lelis is actually stuck inside there instead, because he's completely surrounded, will likely be the first casualty. But the Grave comes in the last moment, again from Moo. No one is dying from now because of this freaking Dazzle. And just like that, TSM has to pull away. 13 seconds from K1, and now I don't know if they get Roche for free anymore.
That's a really good hold. No casualties, they didn't lose any barracks in this 5v4. 50 minutes in, this is usually the recipe for losing at least one lane, but they hold out. And yeah, their heroes are just stupidly tanky, right? Gunnar has a heart, Lelis has a heart on the clock.
Okay.
They're sending these tanky heroes in front and just keeping them alive with the Dazzle and buying time.
Overclock, get out of his way.
Yeah,
Trying to get some vision. Morale trying to cut them off at the source. Throwing rocks in his frustration will actually hit Gunnar. Now the overclock is ending. Maybe this is the path for TSM to potentially take this rush, but still will be difficult.
Who is taking care of top wave in the meantime, so TSM do see at least one hero on the map right now, and they know the PL illusions are here too. But yeah, Dazzle with the Travels level 2 will always be able to connect. Also with the Arcane Blink picked up on Moo, a classic super late game Dazzle item is in this patch.
Yeah, that one's dirty. That is such a dirty item for this hero.
So
now that it heals and gives mana each time you blink.
You're kind of Tinker in a way.
A poor man's Tinker, a less disgusting Tinker, some would say.
That's up for debate.
Yeah, sure. Keeping this wave pushed perpetually. Brian will take it out with Trample as well, so these creeps are not passing this location as Roshoff number X of this TI continues.
K1 is just cutting the wave. He has no cares.
All right, Roche attempt from TSM.
He can keep rocket spamming it though. They should get the information. Actually, 10-second cooldown. He just
Blast is coming though. Roche will take all that damage.
hard to get in there. Ninja gear. Man,
Such a pivotal moment in this game. It could be the end of TSM's run if they lose this potentially. Back into the pit they go. And there, the Muerta comes to push in. And look at the damage. I think it's a bit of thanks to the Rockets. But Roche has died, and TSM will claim the rewards that come with it. Gunner Company, they actually want to continue to fight this. They have all the vision in the world. Ryle's going to onslaught to the other side. Pops it up for as well.
no ulti on Muerta is a big deal here. You've got to be careful if you're TSM. You committed that to get that Roche kill. So now it's time to kite.
Continually being harassed by these illusions that seemingly never end. The roll in onto Ari. Can they take out the Phoenix before the egg can be consumed? But no, the disruption comes out. Blast is coming in early. Great on the Gunner just to make sure that he's okay. As Tomato doing a lot of damage from the high ground. It looks like Gunner's going to die inside the pit. The AA dies as well. And now will likely have to try to fall back. Only having 3 members available. 2 buybacks are there though for Nouns if they really want to use them. Another overclock use as Tomato. Not able to get the stun off there, so the TP is successful.
What a nice sequence from TSM. They get the Roche, they get these 2 kills. They bide their time because it's a moment of vulnerability when Muerta doesn't have ult. Sure, you have the Aegis, but it's still kind of scary. You're cornered in the bottom right corner of the map. You know the enemy has vision of you, but they're just buying the time they need, and they find that, you know, Gunner goes in on the Phoenix. I think he was maybe expecting a little bit more backup from K1 on that. Obviously, the disruption came out, but maybe they could have killed the egg together, as a matter of fact, there, if they would have popped everything on it, but...
K1 trying to solo defend this for now. Mono Katane making, I would say, short work of the illusion. That wasn't really that easy. And now pounding on the tower. Can now hold this. Again, they do have their buybacks intact, but don't want to use them if they don't have to. Here, 3 towers dead. Sunray expended from TSM side.
This is so
Never ends.
I really feel for TSM here with pushing.
Oh, big Cobra is coming in with that clockwork. They got Kasane with it. Kasane's deep inside the base and he's dead. No Beastmaster. Goodbye back as well. And some of the buybacks in this game are intact overall. Now, absolutely no mana whatsoever on Ryle, and he gets destroyed.
Double kill.
So not only do Nouns get 2 kills, they don't have to buy back to be able to hold that.
Yes,
Now
it's like,
Ari on the run.
it's so frustrating, right? You really feel for TSM when they're pushing this high ground.
Silence there from Gunner. Tomato with the calling.
It's kind of forcing some errors, right? Miscommunication there about what the plan really was. You have Beastmaster and Primal diving a little bit into the base while everyone else is disengaging away from the PL and Dazzle spam. And ultimately...
Oh my goodness.
Of course.
We have a Divine Rapier on Tomato.
Well, we don't. We have it on his courier.
His courier has Divine Rapier. That is a powerful courier.
There it comes. What's he going to swap out? It's going to be the BKB and the Pike for now. Has to be quick on his inventory management.
Yes.
That's some really important
Are
backpack.
they going to give up this set of racks is the question. Again, TSM have both their buybacks, but they might just hold off on using them.
I think those 2 buybacks are worth more than 2 lanes. This late into the game,
Yeah,
having 2 cores without buyback is extremely dangerous.
Tomato's Rapier will not be a surprise factor at all. Now K1 focusing on bottom. Looks like you're right. They will be giving up 2 sets of racks. We'll see what they can do with this Divine Rapier. We're still a minute and a half on that edge. It's K1 looking to pick a fight right now. Might just need to focus on the barracks to be happy with that. Rock bears come out. That is the overclock from the clockwork. Looks like they'll be able to defend this melee rack in the end. Like the items coming out.
That looks like a big pickup here.
Items are ridiculous.
This is actually a really key item here because if you can save from Roar unless the Demonic Purge is on top as well, right? So you kind of need to stack your spells. It gives him a way of disengaging from the fight himself now. When he hooks in, if he sees a bad moment, he can just reposition out. On top of his, obviously he already has the jetpack, but that kind of depends on you not being stunned. Whereas the Wind Waker, as long as you get it off, you can't get stunned during it. So the utility through the roof here for nouns. And AA is close to a refresher. Yamson won this. That is a very big late game item.
It's not tournament time anymore, it's just gold.
That was a very short tournament time.
The fact that Gunner's not 25 yet, it's actually quite surprising.
The fact that we're 58 minutes in and you haven't talked about tier 5 neutral items.
I don't want to get everyone's hopes up, you know? Every time we do that, the game ends within 10 seconds.
That's not true. We had tier 5s yesterday.
And one fight and then the game was over.
I mean, that's generally how they work.
I think especially with a rapier in the game, that's probably how it will go. Whoever wins the next fight should be victorious.
It so much comes down to these buybacks, right? Because the buyback status is everything in a game like this. It means if one team has all buybacks and the other one doesn't, and a huge fight breaks out and it turns into like a 10v7, you know, that's generally where games are ended. So I think all heroes at this point should really look after their buyback. And the problem right now that TSM are facing is after buying the rapier, Tomato doesn't have it for another 1700.
I mean, if he loses the rapier, I think the game should be over, sure.
That's fair, I suppose.
Then again, Downs don't really have the greatest
it's pretty good on
carrier.
It's pretty good on Down with the Ag Shadow Wave.
Oh, that's true.
It fires an auto.
Oh, I forgot about that.
It's actually quite a lot of damage.
Man. I'd love to see that.
Ladies are
We
scared
have PL
for
with the
enemies.
divine. Doesn't fight of the illusions at all. Alright, dead even game. 59 minutes and 20 seconds. Now we will start discussing tier 5 items.
Okay.
What's a good one? What's a good tier 5 item this game?
Book of Shadows is insane against Beastmaster. It really messes with that hero. You know, that's definitely one that Nouns would want one of, if not even two. Judging from how these fights have gone so far, I think Arcanist's armor is also going to be very interesting.
I feel like nobody goes for that.
But you only want one, right?
Right.
But I just these fights are just a mess. Like, there's so much damage flying around everywhere all the time. So I would at least say TSM should consider investing into one. Just think about how much damage is being spread around, right? It's ridiculous. Rockets, spam from PL, spam from Dazzle, Earth Spirit Magnetized, that will be undispellable soon because he's almost 25. I can't believe Gunner isn't 25, actually.
I said this already.
Yeah, that is still kind of crazy.
Thanks for joining.
It is equarly crazy to when you pointed it out. It's actually crazier now because we're later in the game than when you said it.
Yeah, it's been a minute. You're right. It's been one full minute. All right, okay, Arcanist armor.
There you go, Kasane.
Not ignoring
nice.
it for once. Very good.
good.
Ex Machina on Huerta.
Standard.
So can refresh the Divine Rapier. Very important.
Nice.
K1 has the Giant's Ring.
Oh, that's a big.
That's a juicy boy.
That is a big clock in bottom lane.
Very nice.
That is.
So 2 Giant's Rings.
Oh, baby, that is. He looks. I've never seen clock with this item actually. He looks menacing.
He's not quite 25 yet, but I wonder what he's going to go for. Is the battery assault interval, perhaps, or debuff immunity inside cogs?
I think the battery. Battery is probably the one.
I always like seeing Radiant's middle back.
What else we got? Mirror Shield on
Iron on the Phoenix, the right-click machine that he is. Of course, the bounty runes are kind of a big deal, especially if you think this game's going another 40 minutes, which could happen, of course.
And it's always the wildcard item, Seer Stone on Yamson, which has the potential impact of just winning the game off of the active.
Yep, increases the range of his Ice Blast as well, I believe, right, Cinder?
Amazing.
Yep.
But yeah, the 800 AoE vision has the potential to win games. So it is, the potential is there. The other side, we've got Ex Machina. You mentioned there's also Seer Stone and Shadow Demon. Force Boots, the choice of Ryle. So not a single Book of Shadows was chosen. That's a bit surprising. I feel like both teams really benefit from this item. There's no way they weren't offered it for any of their 5 heroes, right?
Maybe it's too high skill an item for TI.
Yeah.
To be fair, it is a really difficult one to use.
But
I agree. We talked about this yesterday. I think it's the most, in theory, the most powerful tier 5 item.
It just, the potential is just incredible, right? And I think in this game it's actually relatively simple to use compared to a lot of other games because, you know, you're either going to pop it on a Roar target if you're the Dire, or on the Radiant you're going to pop it on the target PL is laying into, right? You have time to react, you know what you want to do with it. It's relatively telegraphed, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe the wrong heroes were offered it, but I would have definitely liked to see at least one.
Roche updating
Boom, there it
seconds.
goes.
They're actually scanning, so
Baby,
they
they're scanning
have a
for
good idea
enemies.
that Lelis is just chilling in the pit. Gunner gonna be found as well. We'll dodge the rocks. Roche number 5.
So,
And this age is pretty important for the likes of TSM, especially with that Divine Rapier, which we
yeah.
haven't gotten to see too much of yet.
I think TSM's hexes are equally important. They really need to find this Dazzle and just blast him. He has Lincoln's and Mirror Shield though, so good luck. But, alright.
Oh, Pulverize to start. AA Blast is coming in from Janssen. It's going to connect on the Primal Beast. Top to BKB. Gunner pops his own. Jumps right in, gets the refresher, but shortly after is forward with a nice brave from Alar. As Moon keeping it healthy, trying to get up to the other side, but he's going to get stunned.
Brave again.
Brave again, number 2, trying to roll out, but Kasani's body is just too thick to get through. And Gunner has died. We'll buy back and instantly try to TP here. Now big fight that Lelis inside the colony right now. The onslaught coming in from the Primal Beast. It's K1 continuing to do a lot of damage with these illusions. Doesn't want to get too far into Tomato. Still available with that Divine Rapier. Now trying to focus all these efforts on a Gunner. And the BKB again. Probably popped X Machina, which is great movie by the way. It's really going to be able to get the Brave up on himself. We'll get to the other side, and that's going to be the next Gunner. Dieback for him. And just like that, it's a 5 versus 4 for TSM. Now try to retreat in the process. Here's the Gloucester mid laner. Ryle going to spot Yamsun. Somehow lives on Ancient Apparition. Just a miracle. See the Wind Waker onto Lelis. Going to find an avenue to be able to get out. Looks like he will not be pursued any further despite being extremely thick. As mid lane has to be defended now. But knowing that that's a dieback, you have 90 seconds where you know for a fact it is 5 versus 4. The fact that Gunner died twice, and if I'm not mistaken, nobody else died that way.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yep.
NA math and all, you can never trust that, but...
And now Nouns, because of this pressure mid that they put with K1, look to be grabbing themselves an Aegis here, 4v5 late game.
Okay. Very normal.
I mean, the guy who won it on is dead though. So, I guess it goes to Lelis?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, this will be the only time this TI Lelis gets to hold that unless he wins the tournament.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a Roche be conceded when it's 5v4 late game situation. That is so weird.
that is
very weird.
Truly a rarity, but this game has had plenty of those.
Indeed.
Clockwork Aegis, I wonder how many times that has happened in TI. Probably less than 5.
Divine Rapier still there, and still no buyback, by the way.
Yeah, the bottom lane is
Tomato.
such a problem for TSM. They have to keep rotating heroes back to deal with this. A1 pressure, Affliction's pop, Pulverize.
There's CTVs coming in from Kasani. He gets off the war. Pulverize just lasts forever at this point. Trample doing a decent amount of damage, but now K1 can turn his efforts onto the rest of TSM because they can't tell who's real at this point. Like he's gonna get to the other side.
Dispersed and ran left, they saw it.
Onto the Well of Eternity. Definitely not the real name, but we're going to coin it that now. The Lincoln is popped again. K1 onto the high ground he's trying to get. Of course, he can just walk through the terrain freely thanks to that Tier 5 item brought to you by Valve Software. K1 gets cheap. Still pretty fast, but there's another Pulverize. And now Tomato with the Divine Rapier brings him a new one. 90 seconds of no PL, but buyback remains. And during this entire process, by the way, I don't know if you noticed, Gunner did spawn.
Yeah, and he also tipped K1.
Oh, very important, yeah.
Jumped the gun a little bit on that. He was like, good job, K1, and then he instantly died. So, you know, maybe not. Maybe wait until he's actually out. He really thought that was a clean escape. And honestly, it didn't look like it was going to be, but late game Dota is wild. Even being away 2,500 range is not enough against a Primal with Dagger, Hex, and a full duration Pulverize.
Ari has Aegis. He has Refresher Orb finally. We talked about it 20 minutes ago. Finally is a real item in his inventory. Very powerful on that hero. Ryle, what's on him racks.
Is this going to be the time that TSM get a barracks?
I don't know. Hook shot in from Lel. There's a buyback on a K1. They have the break right now. The Buffalo really does have that Aegis intact. Bonnie's going to go for a refresher for himself. Looking for a second roar. Tomato becomes refresher for himself as well. Being pursued onto the high ground into the enemy triangle. There's the first egg, I do believe. And Tomato trying to save Kasani, which is nice to the illusions. Tomato now trying to sustain his ground. Has to be said, so Shadow Wave will apply his auto attack.
And
Now he just needs a Daedalus from
I love this. Who else has one of these quick buy? Let's go for the double dip here.
Beautiful.
I think the crit's probably better, but you know, it's more fun. And who likes fun? So
I mean, they don't know
They don't.
that there's no buyback on Huerta.
they're about to find out because they're running straight down mid to try to force these buybacks. No buyback on Huerta, not on Phoenix.
Yeah, there's the first buyback. This
Five.
is on to Bryle. There's the fortification, likely the last of the game for TSM if they can't defend it. Still 50 seconds without 4, maybe even 5 heroes here. That is NA Math at its best. K1 continuing with the illusion. There's only one tier 4 tower down. I don't think there's going to be anything to stop them. This Bryle trying to make one last defense because if they do so, they're out of TI. There's so much overclocking. There's got to jump in with the BKB. Now it's getting a beautiful call. Monster Sonic cannot get off the roar as the ancient is fully exposed. K1 looking to finish the job. He started farming the whole game, but now he finishes it in style. And now, knock out their NA brethren and TSM from TI.
What a game. Oh my god, that was great. Everything. It's one of those games where you're just like, imagine the mental toll on TSM from the last 40
Imagine the
minutes.
mental toll on us, for God's sake. What are you talking about, TSM?
Yeah, that's true.
Jesus.
That's true.
A loud cheer there.
It's so crazy. I mean, there's a million things in this game that could have gone differently and that made a big difference, but ultimately in these late game situations, it just becomes absolute chaos. And Nouns with a lineup that really thrives in that, right? Rockets everywhere, PL illusions everywhere, Dazzle hexing left, right, and center with the shard. Just the spam from Earth Spirit, Magnetize, Undispellable, and ultimately they do finally overwhelm TSM and close this one out. But holy shit, did they have to work for it?
This was an epic game. I mean, tier 5 items we talk about all the time. We finally got a good tier 5 item game. Lots of back and forth, but TSM, unfortunately for them, they are knocked out of TI Cinder. They had a pretty good year overall, I would say, but obviously they're going to be pretty disappointed with the way things end here.
And what a run from Nouns already, right?
Absolutely.
This is a team international tournaments this year, they have not had the best results. They are now secure top 8. They will be playing in the Climate Pledge Arena next weekend.
That's right.
And honestly, I think a lot of people going into this tournament, I most for sure would have not expected a top 8 finish from this team. And now the question is, what's the ceiling? Like, if you can effectively tank out games like this, you had to really, you know, delay and stall and have your composure for so long.
Maybe I'm a bit biased. Nouns gives off a little bit of DC vibe, right? They have Moo on the team, of course, but get crushed in the upper bracket. It's a surprise that they're even there to begin with. And then lower bracket run begins. Will that happen again? I don't know, but definitely a great showing overall from Nouns this game and the whole series overall. I mean, Gunnar had a rough time in game number 2 after Oni in game 1, but they destroyed. I believe we have the panel ready to go. So let's see if they can break this down. Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Syndrin. Quite a lot to talk about in the second game. Congratulations, of course, to Nouns making it to top 8. A hell of an achievement, but more importantly, now being the top dog in North America. Fear, I bet that is quite the triumph.
Absolutely crazy going on through this year. They were always sitting on that 3rd spot, not be able to make it to a lot of the majors this year, and now all of a sudden, without just today, right? TSM, you take out Shopify Rebellion. Now they play TSM, they 2-0 TSM, clearly stating at this road to the international, they're the best team in North America. And what a feat just over the year to get that good that fast.
Yeah, I think the improvement especially is something that we'll talk about a lot as they continue their road in the lower bracket. We do have to attempt, as the commentator said, to break this game down that we just watched because, well, there was a Phantom Lancer in the game, and let's be real, FEU always knew that he was going to pull through.
I mean, when I said that PL would be a problem, I didn't expect the problem to start happening at minute 60. I mean, that's just Hector for you. I can't believe he played the first 45 minutes of the game with minimal kill involvement, with 0 kills, 1 death, something like that. I'm not even sure, but I mean, that was just really well played by Nouns. They held on for as long as they could. It was that high ground defense ultimately that took them there. The AA Ice Blast into the Rocket Flares, into the Cogs, into the Magnetize, just pushing heroes back. And because of his team being able to hold out for that long, he eventually reached the point where he could deliver.
Yeah, and deliver they did. Nouns moving forward, and you can see on the camera that everybody is having a great old time. And I know someone who's having a great old time. It is Gunnar, and period.
Yeah, thanks, Sheeves. I am here with Gunnar. Oh my god, you must be exhausted.
Yeah, I'm like shaking, but it was fun. It's a good time.
I mean, we were all hoping that there would be a game like that at some point today, just like a really good back and forth. The gold lead was like 2K even in 60 minutes. How do you stay focused in a game like that?
We try to listen to Lois a lot of the time, and then there are times where we just didn't say a word, like when they were chasing Hector. At some point we were like, guys, can we save him? Like, no one's talking. Hector didn't say a word. I tipped him because he was owning. They were like, we can save him, and then he died, and we're like, oh, never mind, guys. So I don't know, a lot of it was just kind of silent until the fights. We're just like, okay, we can fight.
So is it just like slightly organized chaos at that point? You're just kind of just clinging on?
Yeah, somewhat. We have to talk about how to take the fights, like, oh, I can go on the support, blah, 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 and we want to take the fight this way, but once the fights break down, it's just a lot of yelling, and like everyone just has to click their spells.
So how does it feel now at TI12 to be the best team in NA?
Feels good to make it to TI. The road is over. I'm blessed to be out of this road after so many years, so. And, you know, in NA, USA, TI back again in Seattle, so feeling good.
Can we get a USA chant to support nouns, please? There you go, Gunnar. Congratulations and good luck further.
Thank you, thank you.
You guys.
Thank you very much, Gunnar and Pyrian Nouns, to the International. Next week, of course, in the Climate Pledge Arena. We're going to break this game down further because I just want to talk, Lacoste, about something that we were promised. Start of the game, we heard Moon say, you know what, we're just going to run at them.
It didn't happen. I mean, there was like 20-25 minutes of nothing happening. Crowd was cheering for a smoke, for any kind of a small play, dazzle, blinking, using Hand of Midas, because they've been turtling so much. Like, we also, using Warp Turtle, it's been a long time, because they had Aghanim Scepter on Clockwork, Ancient Apparition, with his thing, dazzle blinking out, and also Hector. Is this like K1 or 1K? Because he had 978 CS in this game. Dude was nuts. He was really pushing the limits, and I think Gunnar explained it well, because they do know like what the hell he's doing. Like, he's kind of used to doing this stuff, because Hector, people always talk about him, being AFK farm. In this one, he really did it. Like, he was not showing up, and then suddenly, 50-60 minutes into the game, the guy shows up with 6 items. What are you gonna do? And you need to face him eventually, because he's the final boss.
I mean, this game was very good for Nouns. It have been very stressful for TSM. We're gonna find out how stressful with Tomato.
Thank you. We're here with Timado. We had some questions for you, Timado, after that game. I'm just gonna start. Honestly, that was one of the wildest games we got to see at TI. Is it fun for you in that moment? With all the pressure, is there a moment that you actually get to enjoy the game and actually realize where you are and how far you've made it?
Of course, I wake up every day, I practice 10 hours a day, every single day of my life, entire year for these moments. When I'm there, I'm just like, I'm in my zone, I'm just like trying to win, it's very fun. I feel very sad, but I also feel happy because I really gave it my all. And I could have played better game 1, but that's just life.
Timado nos cuenta que esa partida para él fue divertida en su momento, obviamente se siente triste por haber perdido, pero él juega cada día 10 horas al día para poder llegar a este momento. Es un momento que él aprecia muchísimo, es un momento que es muy importante para él y se ha esforzado mucho y no puede sentirse mal porque ha jugado tan bien como él ha podido, aunque quizá un poco mejor podría haber jugado la partida de 1 segundo. I actually want to talk to you about your year. You've had, every interview I've had with you, you've talked about this feeling of beating oneself, of this path of self-discovery, of becoming a better player. And even earlier, you were talking that you felt like you were actually peaking right now, that as a team especially. How has this journey been for you? How does it feel now to make it TI in what you think is really good form?
That was very nice. I thought this would be the year. Clearly it wasn't. I think everyone should be proud of themselves, how much they've changed. For a lot of people, this is like their first time they're on a stage, their first ever like competitive team. I really like the team. I'm very proud of how far we've come. And yeah, it sucks to lose. At least not last like the other years. Until I look at the positives. But it was a good year. I think I really enjoyed the Dota play. I gave it my all the entire year. I had ups and downs. I learned a lot as a person and as a player. So it's been a nice year.
preguntándole sobre el año, nos dice que para él ha sido un buen año. Se siente muy orgulloso de su equipo, cree que son muy buenas personas y buenos jugadores y cree que han estado mejorando todo el año y se ha divertido mucho este año. Cree que cuando lleguen al TI, este va a ser el año de verdad. No ha pasado, pero no pasa nada porque para ellos es la superación y seguir intentándolo y al menos saber que han jugado con su mejor nota posible. Now, a lot of people, we're doing this interview for 2 languages, that's how many fans you have, Timado, and 2 whole communities. These people, they've supported you and they will keep supporting you with this loss now. Is there anything you'd like to tell these fans, or perhaps the people are watching, some maybe special people that keep to watching today as well? Anything you'd like to say?
I hope you guys enjoy the games. We really gave it a roll. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep trying. Especially I can speak for myself. This only motivates me to wake up tomorrow and going in. There's the next year. So thanks to my family for being here and the people that care about me and watching my games. It motivates me, and to all my fans, thank you so much for supporting us.
The fans are already cheering. Can we get a couple more cheers for Timado here? Thank you. Timado dice que le da las gracias a los fans, a todos que nos han estado apoyando todo este año. Sí, aquí acaba la carrera de este año, pero no acaba su carrera en general. Timado va a seguir dándole del todo, tiene motivación encontrada por esto y también una gracia especial a su familia que ha venido a verlo el día de hoy. Gracias a todos los fans por apoyarle y a todas las comunidades, to both communities, English, Spanish, that are supporting Timado here. We'll continue to support him. Thank you so much from myself, from Timado, and from TSM. This is not the end, is it, Timado? But it is the end of this segment, so we're going to go back to the panel so they can tell us more about this lovely game.
Thank you very much. It's bittersweet, you guys. It's bittersweet fair to see Timado exit here with TSM. And you mentioned that they gave it their all. I think the game, the series we just witnessed, it did feel like they gave it their all.
They definitely did, and hopefully it doesn't beat on too much. He realizes that game one he probably could have played better. It's very easy to look back on the moments where sometimes the rest of your life, right? Like, what if I would have played this one game better? But that doesn't really help you. Hopefully,
no.
That and just learn from the experience.
Yeah, you can't get hung up on like the one game, the one moment. That's not a healthy thing to do. We can also see where this puts not just TSM now on the sidelines, but also nouns as we look at our bracket. FE, we move forward. Elimination is part of the process. Losing is, you know what, if you're playing Dota, you lose more than you win. That's just the nature of competitive Dota. You gotta deal with it.
Yeah, TI's got one winner and a whole bunch of losers, and it's just the way it's always been. But these players understand the nature of this, and they're not concerned. And the cannibalization of North America is done in this lower bracket. I feel like every single TI, it happens in the region, but they just meet in the lower bracket and knock each other out. Last year it was the South American teams, this year it was the North American teams, but they gave us a great series out of it, so I don't mind.
Nope, and North America is not out. Now it's moving forward. We saw that they sit there in the next round of the lower bracket without an opponent. Lacoste. They don't have anybody to play against.
Yeah, they're gonna need to chill for a couple of days and wait and see who's gonna win, Nine Pandas or Gaming Gladiators. And I think a lot of people didn't expect Nouns to do this well, and they're a team to beat on a good day. Like yesterday, they didn't have that good of a time against the Zure, but today they really stepped it up. So it's TI. Everybody's gonna give their 100%, and you're gonna be careful about it.
Yep, and the upcoming two teams are gonna give their 100% as well, as Lacoste said. Nine Pandas, Gaming Gladiators, that is our upcoming series. It will be our final series of the day, and it will be another elimination match. So we're gonna have an interesting time. We're gonna have a bloodbath, maybe a little bit more back and forth as we have in the previous series. That's just my personal wish. Before we head into the deep dive of the statistics of it all, I do wish to learn a little bit more about Gaming Gladiators.
I think our group stage didn't really go as people would have hoped it to be.
Like a trash. That's why we lost a couple of games. We play like a trash and we lost the talent. That's why we go to the loser bracket, because we are too bad.
Mindset, prestige, pressure, expectation. TI just has a special ring to it, and maybe that's getting to people's head. I don't know what it is especially, but I could also feel it within the team in bootcamp coming here. There's something that makes people more upset, more frustrated, more ambitious, and I know small things can be off, but small things can make a big difference. difference in the end. Every loss is a bit of a setback. You also learn a lot more from those losses, and I believe that we can make it and sort of fix our issues.
I think it's more motivating, to be honest. Nobody's gonna be sad. If you're losing, you're just gonna be angry. You're just gonna be mad and angry at yourself that you're not performing well, losing or doing some stupid mistakes. You need to play faster and better.
Yeah, we definitely proved before that we can be one of the best, and I believe that we can do it again. I'm hoping for a miracle run through the lower bracket, and I hope you guys are there all the way, because it's gonna be fun.
Gaming Gladiators is hoping for a miracle run in the lower bracket. So is Nine Pandas, of course. But when talking about Gaming Gladiators, they are the major champion three-peat of this year. Effie, they have so much experience at winning that maybe we heard Tofu talk about it. Losing at TI, apparently it hits different.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. There is a lot of glory, of course, to a TI win. And every single time the team is dominant for the entire year, they've never won a TI. And I feel like that's also getting to Gaming's heads. I mean, they were the team to watch for the entirety of the competitive year. Everyone studied the replays, everybody studied them, and it seems like they fizzled out right before TI, just as it always goes. But I do think that this team has players that are capable of bouncing back, especially like the video we just watched. They said that they admit that they played bad. They had a lot of time to sit together and talk through their mistakes, and maybe they'll bring their older version of themselves here today.
Yeah, we also have Nine Pandas, Lacoste, that has to bounce back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the team that throughout the whole year consistently plays now 6th place, 7th place, pretty much at every single tournament. This is also like a relatively newly formed team. You know, you have Solo, you have Ramses playing together again, and they were doing like really good. Another Eastern European team, another Eastern European powerhouse that is very difficult to take down.
Very difficult to take down. This will be a fantastic series. Both of these teams have a lot of experience facing each other, and they're going to do so again here on the stage on Seattle. Again, they're gonna have to make it to the grand finals to do so, and their lower bracket run here with Nine Pandas continues. Every step of the way, every major, they were there, but they have not had the same all roses run fear as Gaming Gladiators does, but they are still here, and they're still fighting, and they are looking good doing it.
Yeah, this is a team coming from Eastern Europe, one of the big three, I would call them, and they've been really good, but inconsistent. That has been the problem with Nine Pandas here. They seem to have a strategy, a formula, I would say, like how to win games, and once that's been figured out, and then maybe this TI, they might need to restructure a little bit, because they have been trying what they've been winning with in the past, the Alchemist, and it's just not working right now. So I'm very curious to see. This is a team that many teams would call cheesy in the past, but cheese can only take you so far. And have they brought more cheese to the table? We'll have to see.
You know, I don't necessarily think that they need cheese to win, because I feel like their ceiling is very high. And the issue with yesterday was just Kiyotaka did not have the Kiyotaka-like performances that we're used to. Typically, he is the win condition in Nine Pandas, and yesterday he just was not hitting. So if they were able to correct a little bit of their drafting issues or the way they play around him, they can definitely be a dominant team.
They can be a dominant team. Will they be dominant enough? I will say the record between Nine Pandas and Gaming Gladiators is very, Gladiators' favorite. I can't believe that they've played 15 games against each other this year, which is a lot. Only 4 of them, Lacoste, went the way of 9 Panda, so in this series, I mean, I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of experience between the two, which might help 9 Pandas, but on paper, this is an uphill battle.
Absolutely. I mean, if you wanted to win a tournament in 2023, you always needed to do extra prep for Gaming Gladiators, because eventually you're going to need to play them. It was pretty much like that for the good 6-7 months, and then Team Spirit took over slightly, but yeah, 9 Pandas, they're the team that, you know, can be hit or miss from time to time, but also a lot of these young players who are extremely skilled. Eastern Europe produced so many good players, and everybody talks when you mention 9 Pandas, Kiyotaka. Like, he's definitely the one that always pops up because he has a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, when we talk about Kiyotaka, we gotta talk about the mid matchup because it's an exciting one. Kiyotaka, youngest player at the International in Seattle here, and he's going up against Quinn, North American player, and I feel like we got a very exciting matchup between those two. Effie, what is the most exciting part about it?
I think it's just going to be a matter of which player can enter the game faster first team. Because in terms of lane mechanics, they both have it on luck. It's not like we're going to see one player stomp the other. They're both the highest tier of laners that we have this tournament, you know, with the exception of some others who weren't mentioned, but it's not about that, right? It's how their supports can play around them, the rune security, which rotations are going to work out. But in terms of this matchup, I do have a little fun fact. There was a tournament a few months ago. It was the VV Dodger tournament, and there was a 1v1 tournament that was played. It was a best of 3, and one of the rounds was Kiyotaka versus Quinn, and Kiyotaka actually won. It was very interesting. I don't know how relevant that is to a conversation like this, but I thought it was pretty curious.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially knowing that this is just the start of Kiyotaka's career. Who knows where he'll be in just a couple of years' time. And when we talk about the youngest player on the team, we gotta talk about the oldest player on the team, and also in Seattle in solo. And I want to talk. I mean, okay, I'm a little biased. I'm Dodge. Celery's Dodge. He's position 5. That's where I was gonna go with that. But it is also, it's a very different style of playing position 5 here. I feel like Celery is, you know, he's playing the Enchantress as the tree and protectors, and Solo is, I don't know, I still have Solo as a disruptor player in my mind, right?
Right. I mean, he's a very aggressive type of player, and we talked about before, like, he loves buying bludgeon grenades, he loves doing twin gates, he likes to get aggressive, or we have a difference in Celery. Like, I've seen games where Celery, he's playing a Shen, and it is a universal hero, but I've seen like Manta, Butterfly try to scale with these type of heroes. He's no stranger of like becoming the hard carry of the game, especially on heroes like Enchantress, so they definitely have a different type of playstyle. But one thing I do really like about Celery is like he plays his role until he needs to transition, right? So he's always that hard support, but it's like, oh, we're lacking damage on bench, I'm just gonna buy a BKB and a Hurricane Pike, I'll carry this game.
That's what he did this morning.
Yep.
Because this is the second time we see Gaiman on the stage, Lacoste, and that also means that 9 Pandas has seen them on the stage. There's a lot to learn from a series like that, but I think one thing to learn is that they maybe don't give Gaiman Enchantress.
Yeah, most likely. But I was just watching Celery meditating, you know, getting prepped for the game. This dude is awesome. Like, yes. You can easily talk to him, and he's just, you know, he came out of nowhere pretty much. You know, the whole squad, the old Mykin.gg, and now with this team being like the captain of the team, like we need a new type of blood. I'm wondering what's going through his mind right now.
Is he meditating? Because his brows are furrowed. He looks kind of in pain.
It looks like he's typing.
Just a nap. Good morning. Sometimes just take a nap.
Yeah, but we know a lot of players have a lot of rituals to get into the zone. So, you know, this is the second time on the grand stage here for Celery. Here with the road to the International. Last time at the International, they also with Gaming Gladiators they came top 12, which is right where they are right now. This is a team that's won every single major. I think getting eliminated here, Fear, would be absolute disappointment.
It definitely would, but this is kind of what happens when you dominate the whole year. There's a target on your back, and it's not just the other teams. Like, the patches come for you too, because whatever you're doing is really good. And I feel like Gaming Gladiators, a lot of things they did with, like, got nerfed really hard patch after patch, and then now it got to a whole new stage where the map has changed, and I feel like you have to play a completely different style. They really like to use the auras, group up, play these timing-based things. It's a lot harder to do this now, so they're kind of forced to adapt, and now they're in a situation in TI where how good is this team? We know how good they are on certain patches. Now, can they adapt?
That is exactly it, what you just said, because I did have a conversation with Quinn a few days ago, and I asked him what it is that they're struggling so much with, and he just said that they felt so dominant above last patch and they played so many things well that got entirely nerfed because of how well they played it. So not only did they have to find new things that they can do just as well, but they're also adjusting to the map which every team is doing, and it feels like a free-for-all for everybody where there can't really be a dominant team when the patch is this fresh.
It's the curse of doing well, because if you're doing well with something, other people are going to copy it, and then everybody's doing well with it, so then obviously it must be broken, so then it must be nerfed, and then you gotta have to start over again.
When they were playing on the previous patches, this was the team that you kind of knew what was gonna come. Like, they were not too innovative with their picks, but they started to be innovative in the last couple of month and more too, because I see Duracho playing the CK, they're playing meta heroes. He banged out Weaver early on as position 1, and also Quinn. Like, he loves to play Necro. We've seen it the series that they played against EG. This is the hero to look out for, 24-bit Necro. When I was doing some research, I'm like, okay, let's see what Quinn is playing, and he definitely caught my eye with this Necro pick. One of the strongest heroes against all of these like tanky heroes, and if you don't have enough magical damage, be careful, you might come out.
Yep. One thing that I'm gonna look for this game, though, we have over the last year, we talked a lot about it, and we'll do so here again, because Ace and Tofu is like the magical lane coming out from Gaming Gladiators for me, Effie. We got Ace as one of the most stable offlaners, supported by Tofu. This is a duo that has... They want to play together. They came from the position 1 and 5 playing on the safe lane. There was no place for them in that team then as the safe laner, so they both went to the off lane. It's working out so well with this duo.
They've been playing together for so long, and they spend so much time with each other outside of Dota that they're just on the same page. They're one of those historic offlane duos that are going to go down in Dota history, just like Liloka and XXS were, amongst many others. But when two players have gotten to know each other that well and feel that kind of comfort around each other, then you have a rock. You have a stable lane on your team consistently, and that's always been the it factor with Gaming Gladiators. It's been the stability of the Ace and Tofu lane. It's always a lane that you can depend on to enable you in that mid game.
And enabling in the mid game on the flip side, we gotta talk about Miero and Antares, because this is a duo, Lacoste, that is so young, so fresh. We got, 20-year-old, 21-year-old. This is an off-lane duo that a lot of people last year wouldn't have heard of.
Absolutely. I mean, this is their first time at the TI, and these are also the players that don't have much experience on the competitive scene, but they're doing really hot.
They're doing really hot. How hot will they do here?
Versus Gaming Gladiators. Game 1.
Alright, it's on. We got draft. It is Dota time. We got Gaming Gladiators on the Radiant side. We got 9 Pandas on the Dire side. First pick going the way of Gaming. Am I saying that right? No, I'm not saying that right. Fear, am I saying that right?
Saying what right?
Gaming as first pick.
Oh, I'd have to see.
They do, yes.
They do, but that's so unusual. This is why I'm second guessing myself, because normally we do not see a Radiant team having first pick.
The Radiant and first pick? Okay, let me tell you the statistic from Road to TI group stages. For every match that had Radiant and first pick, that was a 74% win rate. I'm not sure how that happens.
Yeah, this is why I'm still doubting myself.
So whoever has first ban has first pick. Who had first ban here?
Yeah, first ban is Gaming. Yeah, no, we're not doubting ourselves. This is all good. This is part of the plan. 9 Pandas planned this out. This is a strategy. And let's talk heroes, because we got quite a few bans, but quite a few usual suspects still left in the pool here.
Yeah, there's definitely too many heroes in Dota right now to ban everything, and every single team has had a different preference on what they want to overall first pick for the game. I do like that the Dazzle was taken out and the Brewmaster by 9 pandas. That Dazzle looked incredibly scary. If you look back to like when Gaimin were at their prime, they picked a lot of healers, they picked a lot of push, they're on Radiant as well, and I think one of the reasons why Radiant is so powerful right now is the fact that it's just the day-night cycle when Rosh is on one side, and typically when you're on Radiant, you are playing on the Dire side, and around that 15-minute mark, the 20-minute mark, you can take an Aegis and get it ahead of the game pretty easily.
There's one hero that is still left in the pool, that's Muerta. I mean, Gaming Gladiators, they love to flex the hero, because Tofu plays it extremely well. I think him and FY might be the best players that are playing the hero right now, because they are not missing those dead shots. They know how to utilize them in the lane, and also a lot of the times you'll see them paired up with these like strong offlaners, like a Centaur Tidehunter, then you can leave them alone as soon as they get like points in Kraken Shell, or they get a Vanguard, and then you can start roaming around.
And Bristleback too, right? That's what they played today. The AA ban probably indicates the Bristleback pick. That's usually the hero that people choose against. Oh, they CK, that is interesting. I don't think they've done this once for the entirety of the tournament. Yeah, they normally do not run the CK in the overall first phase, but I do like this pivot because it indicates that they want a self-sustaining safe laner, something that you can leave alone after a while and just have your supports play around that mid lane. And that's that matchup we were talking about earlier, the Quinn versus Kiyotaka. How well are the supports going to enable them?
It's also another hero that deals really well with Bristleback at the moment. Builds into Silver Edge, overwhelming damage. If you just turn him around, you have a stun, so you can go around and actually kill it through those like 2-3 seconds of the stun that you have. And you're undefeated.
You have to add on top of that is the laning too, right? Bristle's spamming you all the time, you have that self-sustaining, the Chaos Strike. Because that's where Dota always starts as a pro player. It's like, sure, in theory, you can just make any hero work in the late game, but you gotta get through the lane stage. So you want a hero that can get through the lanes, but also be good throughout the game. CK is just solid in this tournament. So no matter what you pick, this hero looks pretty good. In Wraith King, this used to be a carry hero, but not so sure anymore, right?
Offlane hero, and of course we've seen 9 pandas do it with 2 Radiances.
We've seen VP also do it with 2 Radiances, but they do tend to play the Wraith King on the offlane more often than not here, and it works out quite well for them because you have this late game scaling, but you just have the ability to kill early on. Any kind of strong tanky hero with a stun enables you to play aggressively on your side lanes. And we've seen the Blade Mail Radiance build. Wraith Kings on the offlane just become these sort of soft timber saws where they're farming away and they're pushing with their skeletons, and you have to bring attention to them or they take too much of your map away from you.
Usually you'll see Wraith King when the enemy carry can't really put too much pressure on you, but CK is that type of a hero, especially if he's paired up with a strong position 5, so he might struggle a bit in the early stages of the game, but this is also